We are back on the Unfriendly Cricket podcast day after that disaster in Sydney. I'm saying this is an absolute disaster. Look, you can wrap this around anyway and say this 3-1 series defeat to Australia, which meant India let go of the Border Gavaskar Trophy after a decade, which means that they have not been able to qualify for the final of the World Test Championship. You could say that, look, it was well fought, it was hard fought, it was very competitive, but come on. Let's not mince words. It was one man standing tall, Jasprit Bumrah. It was him against the rest of Australia. Yes, Yashasvi Jaiswal showed some spunk. Nitish Reddy, in a few innings, he showed a lot of guts. But apart from that, there was precious little. You could go and say, look, Steve Smith himself said it wasn't easy to score run in these conditions, but it wasn't about just not scoring runs. It was a lack of application. Virat Kohli got out to balls outside the off stump in 8 innings. That is ridiculous. There's not one innings where he set up a game for India throughout 2024 in the test format, not just now in 2024. Go back to 2019 and you could be fighting hard to remember when was the last time Virat Kohli actually did something of relevance in a test match. The same goes with Rohit Sharma. He dropped himself, or maybe he was dropped. But look, let's just call a spade a spade. Krishnendu Banerjee, Abhishek Shetty. It was it was some of the PR campaign that I thought happened around that exit was cringe-worthy. Rohit Sharma coming and giving an interview in the middle of the test match to justify why he was sitting out. That wasn't on for me. And what were we doing? Now, the question is, look, there's been a lot of criticism, Abhishek. Straight to the point. A lot of questions have been asked, and rightly so. But here is a fact. Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane dropped several years back. They're still playing Ranji Trophy. Ajinkya Rahane got back to the team for the final of the World Test Championship. And who was the highest scorer for India? Ajinkya Rahane. How did he get back there? Because he showed some promise of his old self in domestic cricket. Rohit Sharma, okay, maybe he dropped himself, or maybe the coach asked him to sit down. He was dropped. Let's not mince words. Does he automatically get back into the test team for the tour of England now because he's not retired yet? Virat Kohli, fine, he played all the 5 test matches. Does he get back automatically? Why aren't these guys okay to play domestic cricket? If Rahane could do it, if Pujara could do it, if Ganguly could do it, Dravid could do it, Kumble could do it, Tendulkar played domestic cricket right up until his retirement. He played this last game in Lali. A lot of crowd, I remember, came in to watch that game. Why can't Virat and Rohit and all these senior guys?
Yeah, let me start by addressing the elephant in the room that I was right when I said that India is going to lose the Border Gavaskar series, and you guys didn't agree with me that time. I knew that these guys are not in form, especially Rohit and Virat. And in the previous podcast, also like we said, that Rohit will just buy more time and by sitting in the last test, which he actually very smartly did. He sat out. India lost anyway. Shubman Gill couldn't perform. Virat Kohli couldn't perform. All the buzz around Rohit went, and that stupid PR activities which he has been doing, making Vidya Balan tweet, making Varun Dhawan say something about him. So it's very easy to see what they are trying to do. And now speaking about them playing Ranji or something like that, I don't think they will play Ranji cricket, but they'll still come to England squad. In the interview which he came in the middle and he spoke, not once did he say that he's going to retire. While going also he said that मैं किधर भी नहीं जा रहा हूँ. So he's so sure about him not retiring, not playing Ranji, not improving his cricket, not giving other people chance to play, but he's sure that he'll return to England's squad. So this is where we are standing after losing our own test series to New Zealand, after losing a away test series to Australia after 10 years. We'll still see both of these players in the squad. So that's that. We will not see
No,
them playing Ranji cricket. We know that, right?
I don't know whether we'll have to see whether this is just lip service because Gautam Gambhir, the India coach, came out and said that cricketers should go back and play domestic cricket if they're not engaged elsewhere. Now, but also to reiterate, Abhishek Shetty saying this about who has tweeted who and whether that is a PR exercise, we are not taking responsibility. If Abhishek Shetty knows something about that, then that is perhaps
Yeah. Because
it's
Vidya
on him.
Balan, because
What,
Vidya
what
Balan is a
by
big
by
cricket
PR
fan, right?
by PR exercise, I meant that interview from Rohit Sharma that was uncalled for. I mean,
I
you don't have India captains coming and giving interviews in the middle of a test match. I just thought that was uncalled for when you were fighting with your backs against the wall to save the series, right, on a difficult, spicy pitch. Krish, again, the question is how do you judge the value of a player, right, with whatever they've done over the years? Fine, you would expect a Virat Kohli or a Rohit Sharma to get a long rope, but how long is that rope? How long is that rope? And now, if Rohit Sharma has set an example, how does he get back in?
I'd raise 2 points. First, what Gautam Gambhir said in the post-match press conference, that was rubbish. If you were so gung about playing all the seniors and everyone playing in the Ranji Trophy, how did you treat your players who were actually the domestic stalwarts? Did you play? Did you play at all? Where was Sarfaraz? You did not play him any game. Then you come in the press conference and talk about the importance
Ishwaran.
of Ranji Trophy. Ishwaran, another player. When your opener was failing again and again, you still backed another player who was not exactly in form, but your domestic stalwart was not there. Then talk. Just stop this nonsense and calling Ranji Trophy is the greatest. It is not. Then you do not trust Ranji Trophy enough to post them to India team. That is what it has been happening for last almost 10 years now. You have not given them enough chances to prove themselves. You have stuck to your tried and tested formula. So stop that nonsense. You are not doing any justice to the Ranji Trophy format or tournament by saying that yeah, you should play Ranji Trophy, because you do not give him enough importance to that. Second part is that I think this is the time where, exactly like you pointed out, if Ganguly could, if Dravid could, if Rahane could, if Pujara could, why can't these two guys? Mumbai and Delhi still have 2 matches to play. You either play Ranji Trophy or you are not selected, and if you do not do well, you are not selected for England tour. That's all. That has to be the tough stance. But can the management or the BCCI take the tough stance? Because without Virat Kohli, you do not have enough revenue to win. That is also a matter of fact. I believe that is why Virat Kohli is so important, and I still have my doubts about Rohit Sharma making it to the England squad. Maybe he plays Ranji Trophy. He has done so earlier. Virat Kohli, absolutely don't see him play Ranji Trophy.
Why are we speaking about revenue?
But
Why do we care about revenue making at this
No, I'm
point?
saying, I am
Isn't
saying,
BCCI an
I
already
am
rich board, like the richest
I
board
am
in the world?
saying,
Why do we care
even
about
then
that?
he won't be. Even then, yeah, absolutely. There is no doubt about that. But even then, Virat Kohli won't be playing Ranji Trophy and still make it to the England squad. That's how it has
no,
been.
Do
the
you
point,
want
the
Virat
point,
Kohli to be a part of England squad? Do you want him?
No,
Like, even if he
no,
play Ranji,
no,
do you want him to?
he
Simple.
no, if he scores runs, first off, there is okay. You also have to look at it pragmatically, and those are some right questions that Abhishek, you were asking before the podcast, and Krish was looking into those numbers. How many first class games do you have in the current cycle? But it is not just about the current cycle, right? It is about your attitude. It is about who you pick. You mentioned Ishwaran. Sheldon Jackson retired a few days back. His numbers, nobody knew what he had achieved in domestic cricket. By the way, there were a lot of cricketers, Amol Mujumdar for instance, but he came up the ranks during the golden era of Indian batting. You had Dravid, Tendulkar, Lakshman, Ganguly. There was no way you were breaking into that middle order. But the fact is, it is not just about the current cycle. It is about the repetitiveness of what is going on. I mean, look, now you're going to talk about Mayank Agarwal, right? A lot of websites will suddenly start doing stories because it's good for SEO and say Mayank Agarwal is breaking records. He's on a record breaking spree in domestic cricket for India. Vijay Hazare scored 400s out of the last 5 or 6 innings. Where is he? Is he now suddenly going to be in the focus? But then you'll say, oh, but he's only scored runs in Vijay Hazare on very flat pitches. Some of those grounds are so small that. But then what is the point? Look at Boyle Webster. Look at how Australia are making that side up. He's not a young man. He's over 30. He's come in. He moved from off spin to medium pace. He can bowl both variations. He was superb with the bat in hand. That guy looked like a veteran of 30, 35 test matches. He didn't look like he was making his debut. That is the importance of scoring runs in domestic cricket and getting that confidence. Why did he go back to Rahane for the World Test Championship final? Apparently, Gambhir was very interested in taking Pujara Rahane on board to Australia. You're not heeding to those, so it's not up to the BCCI. It's also up to the players and the coaching staff. Questions should be
But
asked to the coaching staff
Raj,
also.
you
What
you
was Ishwaran
just
doing?
you just pointed out the hypocrisy of India fans, media, and also the board. Like you just mentioned, the great names like Amol Majumdar, or even if we speak about Wasim Jaffer, they or Ishwaran, they have played so much domestic cricket. Why didn't they get a chance? If
No,
Ranji
but
matters
Majum,
so much, if Ranji
no,
matters
it,
so
it,
much,
it does matter. It does matter. But you have to look at era. Majumdar, there was no way Shetty he could have made into the test team at that point or any team. That was packed. That was a packed
so
middle order.
do, are you
Who do
saying
you
that
get
you
it?
first
I'm
need
talking
to
about
Are you saying that first you need to crack the get into the team, Indian team, and then play Ranji because it's not vice versa?
no, it depends on how you're getting into the Ranji team, into the Indian team. Okay, look, now that is going to be a longer discussion because Parthiv Patel did not play a Ranji game before he got his
Right.
debut in Test cricket. Rishabh Pant did not play a lot of Ranji game, but we knew that he had the talent and he showed some intent in first class cricket, so
But
he got in.
why are we expecting players to play Ranji cricket when we are getting selected on Test cricket on the basis of IPL performances?
Exact. That is the point.
So
That is the
why do
exact
you?
point that KL Rahul made a comeback a few years back to England, and he scored runs in the IPL. So he was on the tour of England. Now, as it happened, he scored some runs here and there,
Nitish
and
Reddy.
even now,
Why did
Nitish.
Nitish Reddy got selected in this Test cricket test squad?
Good
Why did
question.
he?
Good question.
Why did he
Because
get? Well, he
because
played well.
Harshit Rana.
Arshid,
Why?
why
yeah,
did Arshid
yeah.
got selected? So now they are selecting players on the basis of IPL performances, and we are expecting players to go and play Ranji because they'll play Ranji. So what? Cheteshwar Pujara has been nailing in county cricket since so long. Where is he getting the chance? So as we are speaking about the importance of them playing Ranji, but will they seriously get a chance even if they go and do? Is my question right now.
But I have another point, Krish, and you can take that and follow it up with what we've seen so far. It is not the board. Okay, fine. Questions have to be asked of the board when there are certain structural issues. You're not paying players on time. Question the board. You don't have a coach. The position has been vacant for 6 months. It's an ad hoc position. Question the board. But you have everything. They're the most highly paid players in the world. You have given them the IPL, which is a massive platform. You have given them coaches. You have given them a massive coaching staff. Now it is up to the coaches. Now, if there's such a superstar culture, the coaches apparently, according to media reports, the coach was frustrated because he said, "I have given you guys 6 months. Why have you given these guys 6 months after you lost 2-0 to New Zealand? That is when you should have called the shots and said, you know what, enough is enough. If you don't do what I say, you're not going on the flight to Australia. Why are you waiting that long? And then you coming to say that okay, domestic cricket is important. Domestic cricket is important. We all know that." But okay, even if what has happened, what can the board do? The board can't call Virat Kohli and say, okay, Ranji khelo. The coach has to follow up with the captain and say, look, what? This is the core, and this is how you got to go back to Ranji and come back into the team.
No, it is
Yeah.
it is not just the team management. Agarkar and the inter selection committee, in tandem with the team management, they have to take that call. See, if you have to play, if you get back to the team, you have to play Ranji Trophy or any first class cricket. Go to Australia and play Sheffield. Wherever it is possible, go and play red ball cricket, and then if you do well, then come back to the team. If you don't do well, then we should look at Sarfaraz for Virat's position. Why not? You have another Dhruv Jurel who is waiting in the wings. You have Abhimanishwaran. At least give him a chance to fail. If he does not fail, how do you know that he is going to fail? So let him fail, and then England is a massive tour, and that will probably determine how things will happen during the WTC next cycle. So you cannot just have two out of form players. And by the way, KL Rahul also did not do wonders.
Yeah.
Shubman Gill has been failing constantly. So if Shubman Gill can get a longer rope, then why can't someone like Sarfaraz get a longer rope? Let him fail at least. You are banking on players who have been failing constantly, and still you are like, no, they have to play. Come on, I mean, they have two Ranji Trophy. Okay, fine. Let's assume that you have two matches to play in Ranji Trophy. Then what? I mean, if Virat Kohli, for example, Rohit Sharma, Mumbai are playing Meghalaya and another, I
JK.
mean, JNK. I mean, both are not strong teams. So what happens if he scores hundreds in both games? Is he good enough to come back to the India setup again? No,
No.
right? So you are anyway going to base his performance on first of all Champions Trophy, then IPL. Come back to the team. That's how the path is. But is it justified? You do not even have that backups ready properly because they are not playing enough red ball games. Then why didn't you, if you had no idea, no intention of playing Sarfaraz Khan, Why couldn't you release him to play red ball game when the red ball games were happening? So what
It's
is your
one thing to
idea here?
say, no idea. It is one thing to
Yeah,
say that you're a
exactly.
team in transition. You're a team in transition. Fine.
You're not
It happens.
transitioning. You're not
It
transitioning at all.
happened. No, you might transition with like it happened in 2011, 2012. You lost 4-0 to Australia. You were whitewashed in England, but at least you saw that there was a roadmap. Fine, Virat Kohli did not perform in 2014. He was still coming of age in 2011, 2012. But immediately after, Dravid and Lakshman came and retired. Can Rohit and Kohli take that call right now and say that, look, there are still 5 months left, that we have done everything possible. Whatever happened in Australia, you could say there were tricky conditions. Fine. It's forget that Steve Smith still scored 200s there. Forget that your youngest batter was the highest run scorer for you. He was the second highest run scorer in the Border Gavaskar Trophy this season. Forget all of that. The fact is, you have now two players who are refusing to, or at least one of them said, "I'm not retired. I have not retired yet." No word from Virat Kohli. They might still do that. But there are 5 months there. You have Dhruv Jurel, who's by the way, I just looked up his numbers. He's played 22 first-class matches. He averages over 40. He made a good impression against England at home. Your seniors haven't even got that. Virat Kohli did not play a single test match at home. Single test match at home. And you're
Apart from the New
questioning Rohit
Zealand series,
Sharma.
yeah.
And we are
Apart from
expecting
the New
him to
Zealand
play
series.
Ranji. The guy has
That is
not
the
played.
point. He could have turned up for one of the last one or two test matches against England. 5 test matches that you played at the start of the year. He did not play one. And you came back against Bangladesh
And the sad
with
part
precious
is,
little.
after the last test match got over, he joined the RCB squad 6 days after that.
Yeah.
So that's the worst thing I have seen actually a player do. Like, if you're not playing the 4 test matches, you can come and play the fifth test. Or even if you're not playing the fifth test, you can at least pretend to not join your club after 6, 7 days. That means you are free, right? You could have just come and play one test for India. But again, this is what we are seeing, and we are expecting these players to go and play Ranji cricket. Irfan Pathan rightly pointed out that I'm so happy that one man in front of a camera with a mic, he went and he said these things, that we should stop these things. We should stop appealing so much to the stars, right? Because what? Because where are we going?
Also, there is a point to make where, okay, fine, Rahul, Rohit, Virat, they are not going to play Ranji Trophy. I mean, let's understand that they are not going to play. What are they going to work on? Virat Kohli has had the problem of nicking off stump deliveries for what? I mean, 1.5 years now.
Yeah.
Who worked with him? What is the role Vikram Rathod played in that? What is the role currently Abhishek Nair playing in that? Gambhir playing in that? Who is making you understand that this is a problem, you have to fix it? No. Rohit Sharma has had issues again. Nobody fixed that. When Virat Kohli was struggling that after 2019, nobody helped him fix those. So what are the coaches for? You have paid
No, but
extravagant
no, no, no,
amount.
no. It is also on the player. 2014, when Virat Kohli was, had a nightmare of a tour in England. He went up to Tendulkar, right? It was public knowledge. He went to Tendulkar and he got himself sorted and he came back and he had a record-breaking season in Australia. The fact is, who's going to teach Virat Kohli how to score runs? He scored nearly 10,000 test runs.
No,
He's
he
a
they
record
do not
holder.
have to see Avishai
Why?
Nair or Gautam Gambhir do not have
Why?
to teach how to score runs, but the problem is there.
But
You have to make him understand, fix it.
but
They are
But
the
yeah,
fixers.
exactly.
They
Now,
have to fix the
look,
problems.
now you have a problem with Virat Kohli's offside channel. Virat Kohli has had issues playing wrist spin. Okay, we've talked about that. Virat Kohli has had issues playing left arm spin. We've talked about that. Virat Kohli has had issues against left arm pacers. We've talked about that. Now you can't play seamers outside the off stump. You're chasing deliveries on the sixth stump. Fine, we are nobodies. Nobody can question Virat Kohli because he's done so much. But the question is, Virat Kohli can question himself. Does he think he's good enough to continue in that test setup? That is the problem. And now, where are you
Because
working on those issues?
imagine you were struggling with those deliveries in Australia. What is going to happen in England?
Yeah.
And even though England do not have a great bowling attack, seam bowling attack, you're still going to struggle in the seaming conditions because every match will have seaming conditions.
And moreover, it's like you also struggled at home. It's not like you scored a
Yeah,
truckload of runs
exactly.
on turning pitches. You're struggling on all conditions. So where are you going to bat and why? Jasprit Bumrah, whenever he's played test matches at home, he's also had a significant say. By the way, his numbers at home are also very impressive. So if anybody gets to be treated in cotton wool, it's only Jasprit Bumrah. He's taken 32 wickets. He's player of the series. He's worked wholeheartedly. He is the only one who can say that, okay, go back, look after yourself. Maybe, just maybe play one practice game before the tour of England. But quickly before we wrap up, since we're talking of domestic cricket, it is obviously about preparation. India decided to do away with a practice game before the start of the first test match. I mean, that was
Yeah.
ridiculous, right? They went and played an intra-squad match in Perth.
So
Preparation means nothing to us, is it?
So all these things comes back to the coach, right? And the strategy he is making and the strategy he
And
is
the
playing out.
captain, and the captain, and the
The
captain. He is
captain was
equally
not there,
responsible.
right? Like the
So,
main captain, the guy Rohit Sharma was not there before that thing.
so
So whom
what?
are you going to blame?
Rohit as well, because as even if you're not there, you go and tell your
You
boys,
are
no, I
part of
want
the
you to play the
decision
practice
making.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
are still part of the decision making process, right? Yeah, I mean, and it has been happening. I mean, India not going to play any practice games in England. Let's say they do, maybe one inter squad and maybe one. But again, India won't get any good team to play in England before the series, before, because that is their preparation time for the county season. They're not going to get that. So what? Then again, India are going to going to go there underprepared, because IPL is getting over around May 25th or so, the last week of May. You have another what, 15 days, because you are not qualified for WTC final. So you have 15 days to prepare for England tour. And again, you are going to bank on IPL performance, because that is
Yeah.
your only criteria. You haven't looked at any other numbers.
Exactly. No.
We are in a loop at this moment.
Yeah.
No, and the attitude has to change because Indian cricket is at a stage where you cannot question infrastructure, where you cannot question money, where you cannot question facilities. You have it there. Now the question is how the superstars are dealing with themselves and how they are being dealt with inside the coaching setup, right? And that is something that the team management will need to figure out answers to in the next few days. Gautam Gambhir, tough as nails. He did say a lot of right. He hit the right echo, right noises in his press conferences. But again, like we questioned some of those statements, is this going to be merely lip service? Don't talk about
It is.
preparation when you haven't prepared. When you haven't prepared, you did not. You let go of an opportunity to play a practice match. In Prime Minister's 11, did not play Virat Kohli. I don't think he played in that game for against the Prime Minister's 11. So what are you talking about? First off, take domestic cricket seriously, take preparation seriously, and now think of answers. Do you need Rohit and Virat? If Ganguly could come back the hard way, if Dravid could come back the hard way, if Pujara and Rahane are being made to come back the hard way despite their contributions, Andre Agassi, when he was away and out of form, he played in the most banal tournaments. And if you read his autobiography, he said it is difficult for an elite athlete to be playing at a venue where you barely have two people watching you. It is not easy, but that is how it should be for a few of our stars if we want to get over this current slump. But thank you so much. I know this has been extremely explosive. Everybody's angry, and we should be asking questions. But moreover, we are hurt. But again, this is sport. This is how it goes, and we of course trust our cricket setup and our cricketers to come back, bounce hard. But we will continue to ask the right questions and the sharp questions. We are leading up to the Champions Trophy, of course. Plenty to talk about on Inside Sport and the Unfriendly Cricket Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Happy New Year again, and have a good week till we see you again.